Hello, everybody. It is Thursday, and we are back with yet another episode of Working Title. And I'm super excited for this one because this is a great matchup. It is one of the most popular, I guess now, X teams that was around of insert name here. I had to play them once. It did not go well for me, and sadly also for Peggy. But they're good people, so I couldn't hate them for long. Only like about 3 months afterwards. But these guys are great. I gave them plot twists today, so I want to see them pick a genre, pick a plot from a movie, and completely change genre. Make it something completely different. That is what I am looking for today. And I know both of them have done this before, and I know they're both come up with some great ideas. So first off, I'm going to bring in the featured presentation productions creator himself, Tony Heel. How are you doing today?
I'm doing grand. It's Thursday evening. It's been a nice, relaxful day. I didn't forget about this until about 2 hours ago and been writing furiously. No, not in the slightest. I've been thinking about it all day. Yeah, 100%.
That is usually why I send you a reminder, usually about 2 hours before this starts, because I know you forget things. But it's okay.
Great.
We all love you, but not so much when it comes to planning. All right, and bringing in second, his old teammate, because he went on to bigger and better things, because now he's in Shmono, and he is a star, like my wife. It's Jacoby Bancroft. How are you doing today?
Doing great. I'm excited as the opposite of Tony. As soon as you told me what it was, I have to work on writing my script and for everything that's going to go into it. So that shows what a dichotomy Tony and I were as partners. That fire and ice, that oil and vinegar, that back and forth. So we'll see how this goes.
One of us plans, one of us pulls shit out of our ass. Let's see what happens.
Oh, look, Brew apparently just saw you, Tony. So
I know. It was weird how we got to the UK, but
oh, cool. Hope you have enjoyed your vacation in the UK. Excellent. All right.
Ship them over.
All right. So we're gonna get this started. Tony, you were here first. Would you like to pitch first or second?
I'll go second.
Second, excellent, because you need that extra 5 minutes to probably finish up your pitch. So round number one is what I call hit me with your best plot. Don't snicker. I see you about to do it. Don't do it. I'm looking at you, Tony.
I know you hit me with your best plot.
There you go. Perfect. What I do in this round is I give both competitors 5 minutes to give me their pitch. They will get 5 minutes. If you go a little bit over, it's not a big deal. Just try not to go too crazy. I do have your little timers here on the side. I've got fancy, possibly since the last time you were here, so give you a little bit of heads up. I will make sure you see it before you go. Tony, you will have Jacoby, sorry. Tony's time. Jacoby, your 5 minutes will start whenever you decide you're ready. Take your breath, relax, and whenever you're ready to talk, go ahead, and then I will start your 5 minutes.
You're so nice. You're such a nice host. This is such a fun experience. Like it's just you're so soothing. Okay, I'm ready.
That gets you a shower. So
you know,
that does get you power points.
That's how it works.
All right. Oh yeah, I thought. Okay, I'm on screen too. Okay. Okay, let me just. I want to start this. Okay. All right, now I'm ready. I'm focused. I'm ready. Okay, hold on. I have so my plot points. Okay. You'll see what my movie is as soon as I start pitching it, because you'll see. Okay. Claire Cleary is a little unsure of her life. You know, on the surface, she has it all. She's the daughter of the U.S. Secretary of the Treasury. She's dating Sack Lodge, the charismatic but intense only child of the famous Lodge family, and her oldest sister is getting married in what is sure to be the most talked about wedding of DC. But something's just not right. You know, she wants more from this life, and she feels kind of trapped in the life she's living. But she needs to be careful because an encounter with two men at her sister's wedding will change her and her family's life forever. Watch out, Claire. The wedding has been crashed. John and Jeremy are the two most dangerous, psychopathic men in Washington, D.C. For years, they've worked as divorce mediators, but instead of helping, they enjoy subtly manipulating either party to emotional and financial ruin without tipping their hand. You know, it's all just a big game for them. Now, you could say there was a reason for this behavior. John's parents died in a car crash before his birthday when he was younger, and that broke him deep down. Jeremy wanted to help at first, but slowly succumbed to this lifestyle of manipulation and deceit to sleep with women. On the surface, they're fun guys, but deep down, something's dark. and their favorite season is coming up. It's not Christmas, not Thanksgiving. It's wedding season, where they enjoy manipulating women by the dozens to sleep with them. But now something's different. The Secretary of the Treasury's William Clearly's daughter is getting married. Secretary Clearly, the man John has worshipped since business school, yeah, they're going to that wedding. Once there, two girls catch John and Jeremy's eyes, Claire and Gloria, the secretary's other two daughters. John immediately devises a twisted plan. If he can infiltrate this family, it would be a sort of replacement for his dead parents that he lost. He makes his move on Claire, but is shocked when he finds Claire is dating Sack and doesn't fall for any of his usual manipulations. He is now determined to try harder. Meanwhile, Jeremy gets what he wants. He has a fling with Gloria and, like always, expects to walk away. Not happening. Thanks to Gloria and John, the two are invited to the family compound for the weekend. Claire is a little hesitant about these two strange men coming with them for the weekend, but the rest of the family seems pretty smitten with them. They're charming to everybody on the surface. But weird things start to happen over the weekend. Touch football games become a little too violent. Quail hunting leads to a few minor injuries. It's safe to say that John and Jeremy are causing quite a bit of a stir. Claire starts to realize how fake and artificial her relationship with Sack is and finds herself falling a bit for the charms of John. Realizing Sack is in the way, John poisons Sack's drink to make him sick, and he has to excuse himself. And when he does, John kills him and hides the body. Meanwhile, Jeremy finds himself actually falling in love with Gloria, who's wild and carefree. This whole time, he's just kind of been following John's orders all these years, but he finds himself getting attached. John doesn't like that. He wants this family all to himself now. Claire actually rescues her mom from an unknown attack from John, and as John slowly starts to unravel, Claire kicks both of them out. Even though the family doesn't quite understand why they're getting kicked out, they support their daughter. John and Jeremy leave defeated. Time passes, and John is basically stalking Claire at this point. He's sending her flowers, chocolates, gifts, a puppy. Basically starts reading books about why not to kill himself. This part is from the actual movie, and no one talks about how fucked up that is. Claire wants it to stop, and she decides to take matters into her own hands. She visits John's old friend Chaz, that John had mentioned to her in passing, and learns the truth of John and Jeremy's twisted and sick ways. It's not just harmless. John is never going to stop going after Claire. Overwhelmed, Claire is hit with another bombshell. Gloria and Jeremy have been seeing each other for months now. Gloria, who has a dark side as well, actually accepted who Jeremy was, and Jeremy finally broke free of John's grip and was able to find love in a real way. When Jeremy breaks the news to John about the wedding being the next day, the big struggle breaks out, and John almost kills Jeremy before Gloria arrives and saves the day. But true love will go on. The wedding will be the next day. Jeremy, is kind of tired and living in fear, and after they tell Claire, she decides to let the wedding happen because she knows it's her chance to end this once and for all. She knows John won't resist crashing this wedding. So on Jeremy and Gloria's big wedding day, John does crash the wedding and makes a big entrance. He makes a grand speech about love to Claire that a lot of the people in the audience find charming. They think this is a rom-com where someone who's been stalking a girl for months but shows up to make a big romantic speech is the hero of the movie. But Claire knows what to do. She eggs John on, hitting at all of his weak spots and insecurities. The emotionally manipulative master slowly finds himself flustered, confused, and angry. Claire is able to show the world truly who John is, and when he admits to Sack's murder in front of everyone, he's detained and arrested. Jeremy is going away a bit for accessory, but Gloria promises to wait for him while Claire gets to start her life anew. End of movie. Wedding Crashers.
Is that what that movie was? Oh, okay. Never heard of it. I like that. It's very interesting because there are a lot of parts of Wedding Crashers that just aren't right to begin with. There's some very creepy moments of this fun movie that you would that are just kind of pushed into the background. But I like how you kind of create the thriller aspect because John does kind of seem like he could be a psychopath a little bit, and Gloria definitely is a tad bit of a psycho in that movie. But to create the thriller element out of it, I think works very well. You can still keep some comedy in there, but you also have that. I kind of saw that going differently in the middle. I'm not going to lie. I kind of thought it was going to go with a Ready or Not type vibe where the Cleary family was actually the crazy people. But I like the way you ended it. I think it all makes a lot of sense. And it was very creative. I can see how you have spent time on that and being prepared. And to go to the opposite side of the being prepared and spending time on something. Oh, hey, Tony, how you doing? Hi. Whenever you're ready, whenever you feel like you have yourself prepared, I will start your 5-minute timer whenever You start.
I'm prepared.
I know. Ish is fine.
I watched the movie once. I think I know it. Like, I just want to point out, one of us has an IMDb credit for writing. The other one is able to change the diaper in less than 60 seconds. But no one wants to see my skills. All right.
One day.
One day. One glorious day. Okay, so let's get cracking. So we're starting off in the 1930s. We're in Eastern Europe. Is this tale of these two? We start off with this tale of these two countries that have been rivals for decades, for eons. There's been civil war. There have been wars between the two of them for year after year, and only recently, because of one country being just absolutely destitute, the despot leader having nothing to work with, had to admit defeat, and they've just been in shambles the entire time for like years until the dictator General Teasdale passes away, and his wife Mrs. Teasdale, this foreigner, she married into richness. She's the richest person in the country. She has everyone in her pocket. She pretty much now gets to decide who's going to take her husband's spot, and she goes for the chauvinistic, ultra masculine, this war hero called R.T. Firefly, and he becomes the president of Fredonia. Yes, I'm doing duck soup. So you have R.T. Firefly. He just comes in. This alcoholic going after everyone. His first day on the job, you just see him just tearing everyone into shreds, and then news gets over to Slovenia, the country next to him, and they're like, "Holy shit! What the hell is happening over there? Why is she got the power? Why is he there now? Like, this is gonna be no, this is gonna be bad for us. This is like North Korea, South Korea vibe, but it's going to be bad because they're all crazy." So we have General Ambassador Tredano. He's been this elder statesman of the country. He goes, "All right, listen, here's what we do. We're going to send 2 spies in. We're going to send 2 people in to try and get the information, try and figure out what the hell is happening over there. Just get and so they sent Ciccolini and Monique, these 2 men that just to impose as Freedonian soldiers. They're going to go in there and just try and understand, and just like get information, just like, what the hell is going on with this country." And they get in and they go for a job in the war secretary's office. They just go, it's a lonely position. They were just going to be there. It's like paper pushers. But Firefly, as all this has been going on, has been bombastic, just making weird rule changes. Like he even goes out of banning chewing gum just because he hates it, and people are supporting him because he is this icon. He is everything this country wants to believe in again. Like he could be the one that brings him back to prosperity. And Mrs. Teasdale, the richest person, is just using him as her puppet, just being like, "Hey, just all the money to me, fuck everyone else." To the point where he even goes public and says, "If you didn't like the last person, wait till you see what I'm doing." I'm butchering that quote. I had it somewhere, but fuck it. So Ciccolini and Monique are in there, and they get in this interview, and Firefly comes in and just fires the war minister on the spot, because why the hell does he need a minister for that? And goes, "You two, why not? You two could be my war ministers. All you need to do is sit there, shut up, get a paycheck, because I am the smartest person in the world about war. You listen to me." And so it goes on, and it's like, and you just see the insanity of this country going hell in a handbasket is, and it's them profiting off this insanity, and just Ciccolini and Monique just like, "Okay, here's what's going on. We have no idea what's going on. All we know is Mrs. Teasdale has somehow got power in this thing." And they realize that Mrs. Teasdale is got some plans in the works. Something is going on there. So, but it's all in her private office. So they decide they're going to break in. They're going to find out what's going on. So they go there, and they get caught. They get caught, and then it becomes this massive grandstand trial. It becomes like Firefly is representing his country because he's on stage. He gets to do everything, and he just spends the entire time just pontificating and going like, these two are foreigners. These two are fakes. These two are are rivals, and just trying to build up this hatred once again towards the rival country, and just everything builds up to this climax of this court case. So just trying to, and like to the point where the ambassador from Slovenia comes over and says, okay, and privately speaks to both Teasdale and Firefly and tries to explain the situation, try to calm everything down and go, we know the country's bad, let's try and just work together, and just like, and then that's when Firefly breaks just his insanity and just goes like, no, this is what I've been wanting this entire time. I want our country's back at war. War is good for me. I get to be the hero. I get everything. All this power is mine. And shoots Dano in the head, just dead at, throws him out, and it becomes a war again between Fredonia and Slovenia.
Oh, all right. I can honestly say I have not seen Duck Soup, which I know I need to. However, I just kind of looked it up. I got an idea what it is, and just creating an actual war/courtroom drama movie out of this is very impressive. For something that you figured out about 2 hours ago and picking a movie that is very surprising. Honestly, you kind of went a little off topic than I was, a little more out there than I was expecting you to do. I was really good. I'm kind of intrigued. Now I really want to watch that movie, and I also want to watch that movie, both. So I will at some point find Duck Soup and then waiting for the actual war Duck Soup that will come out, in a month or two once Jacoby writes it. Both very good, very interesting ideas. Like you both are kind of going more for a thriller element, taking something that was a comedy and making it a non-comedy, which I feel like is a little more difficult than doing something of making like a thriller a comedy or something a comedy a horror. You kind of kept it into a different genre than I was expecting, which is great. And now we're going to go into the second round, which is dubbed the casting call. Let me know who you have in your cast. If you're using the same people, if you're changing somebody up, everything is, of course, available. Because I don't know, it's your movie. Pick who you want in it. There you go. It can be same people, different people. It's all good. Tony, since you went second with the pitch, you will go first with the cast. If you let me know who you have, who are your leads, who you're supporting. If you have a director, feel free to tell me the director. If you can also possibly give me a hint of something else they might have done, that probably helps me because you know me well enough to know I'm not going to know who you're talking about.
Okay, so director, first off, I'm thinking Ron Howard. I think he's the perfect person for this because he's done Charlie Wilson War. He's done these political thrillers before. Like, he can tell that story well. And also, what my thought is that you end this movie at the declare of war, and then the second one is like the big action film, which he can do quite well. And then for the cast, so what I've done is I tried to make it two completely different like feel of people. So for RT Firefly, I'm going with Michael Sheen.
Ooh.
Just like he can just be so just charismatic and just be spiteful in his face. And that Mrs. Teasdale is Julie Delpy, like French. So she has that just this air of arrogance almost about her, and there's this calmness to her as well, which could work really well. And then for the Slovenians, so Besta Trenado, Edward James Olmos, elder statesman, like he could just be that calm influence, just like be like, I know, have this like ambassadorial feel to him. And then for Ciccolini and Monique, I was thinking Diego Luna and Gail Garcia Bernal. Try and represent, like, have it be like two completely different cultures, like countries, like one of them be Hispanic, one of them be pales, anything. So
all right, very cool. Yeah, I like how you did that. The Ron Howard, I do know who that is, so I'm good there. I get that one. But I do like the cast. Michael Sheen, I could definitely see. Very good there. Julie Delpy, obviously, I'm kind of pandering a little bit to someone who may or may not be watching, but you know who that is. And I do like the fact that you are changing up. I'm not just making it just random people. You are making it two different countries by using this third cast, which certainly works really well. And I like the Edward James Olmos because he does have that elder statesman. He does have that kind of powerful aura of him that he can pull off in a lot of these movies. So I like the cast. It's very simple, but really good. I think the director could do a good job making this sort of war political thriller type thing that you have going on, because you got a couple genres in here, which are always makes it interesting. Jacoby, you have a little bit of a more modern movie where much of this cast is still very much around, but you keeping it or are you changing it?
I am actually, I'll start with my cast and I'll go to my director, because the cast I actually am keeping, because I think, but by my movie, what this does is make Claire the main character and puts it through her eyes. And this gives Rachel McAdams more to do, because she is a talented actress. She's done a lot. But if you watch that Wedding Crashers movie, she's nothing. She's a blank character. And you wonder, like, Rachel McAdams now would never take that role now, like, because it's just not anything that she does. So now this gives her a chance to kind of lead the narrative in a sort of way that she didn't get to before. And she's great in thrillers, like in like the underrated Red Eye. She's like fantastic in, so something very similar to that. And then also for like on the two guys' sides, like Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn can do kind of sinister and creepy, as that's what he's been veering toward like nowadays, like a little bit more with like his turning freaky, you know, his bare knuckle grab across the pavement or something. He likes dramatic stuff now, and I think Owen Wilson does have a different side of him than that. Wow, Gene Willikers, like, you know, side of him, like that you can actually be pretty sinister. So I'd actually want to see him in a more creepy role than he's used to. So like the cast, yes, would stay the same, but because their characters are so different, it would be very interesting to see what they do with that role. Directing wise is where I'm going to change it, though, because I think one of the most fantastic comedies of the last few years is Game Night. I love Game Night more than anything. I was directed by John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein. And the reason why that was so good is because it's a comedy, but it's shot like a thriller movie. Like, it looks like there's scary elements to it, but with just a ton of jokes. So I would love to see that sort of style. Just like this is kind of scary. This is kind of with their directing style, put towards something like Wedding Crashers. So that is why the only thing that really changes his mind is the director, which is the directors of Game Night.
All right. I mean, I agree with you leaving a lot of the cast. Rachel McAdams obviously is incredibly talented, does so much more stuff than she did in this one. She was just relegated to a supporting role, which is not who she is. Like you said, Vince Vaughn, like you forgot about the Dragged Across Concrete, but I was thinking Brawl in Cell Block 99, something like that. Yeah, he's big. He's a big guy. He can be very intimidating a lot of the time. Owen Wilson, I haven't seen him in that role yet, but you're right. I feel like he could do a good job being the more sinister kind of thing. I'm seeing that a little bit in maybe the Loki trailer of possibly something a little bit more like that. The director, I love Game Night. I absolutely love the movie. I think it's a great movie, and it's a very creative take on a comedy thriller, so I feel like that could work very well. Donnie, sorry, the painter did not work, and she pulled a U by spelling it wrong.
I didn't pick it because of Peggy. I picked it because she's French. I needed some more French accent because I needed someone that was obviously not a part of that country.
That makes a lot of sense.
And pandering, I get it. All right, but no, both. I really do like the cast. It makes sense. I get what you're going, but I'm here. I'm obviously going to give you crap because if I'm ever on one of your shows, that's what you do to me. So it's fair. And Jacoby, I like the fact you're keeping the cast, but giving them different roles, not just the slapstick comedy roles, giving them those thriller roles, giving those that option, and changing up the director obviously is a necessity. So here comes the fun part, which is the part I call the comment section. Because it's usually where people are the worst. And you two don't have to be terrible to each other, but you know each other pretty well. So do what you guys want. Tell me why your movie is better than the other. Tell me why I should pick your movie over the other. If you have any other big moments in yours that you want to bring up, feel free. But I want you to just nitpick if you need to, but tell me why yours is the one that I should pick. I'm just going to sit back here. Once you guys kind of start saying the same thing over and over again, I'll cut it off, give you about a 30-second closing argument, and we'll go from there. So whenever you guys are ready, I'm just going to sit back here and watch the show and see how this goes. So feel free to start.
Tony's movie is pretty interesting. No, if I have to debate, look, I love your cast so much. Like, I actually like all of those people like a whole lot, and everything's good. And I like Ron Howard. I liked, 1990s Ron Howard. Ron Howard hasn't made a good movie since you mentioned Charlie Wilson's War, which is like 8 years ago or something. So it's like, has the dude still got it? Like, nah, he doesn't.
Well-
And I'm very interested in what you have, but it's like Ron Howard's not the guy to do it.
I'm sorry, you're doing that when you've got Daly and Goldstein, whose their only film to date of any value is Game Night, because we can compare their directorial debut of Vacation, everyone's favorite comedy, or how about the fact that they wrote the incredible Burt Wonderstone?
I didn't say they were writing my movie.
It's almost like you may have needed someone with a bit more experience on the helm, because the next film is in 2022 Dungeons and Dragons. So maybe wait until after that movie comes out, and that is a total disaster zone.
I would rather give them something who's 1 for 1 for directing, and someone who's just like 5 for like 18. That's just
analogy is great.
But anyway, you have a good advantage here, Tony, because I have not seen Duck Soup either.
I have not seen Wedding Crashes.
So now I know the plot. So it just seems like you have a lot going on in your movie, a whole epic scale war between two countries. How's that going to work out in a like a 2-hour movie nowadays with a director who's not very good anymore? Like, that's just how are you going to tie that all together?
Well, the idea is that the war would actually be a secondary film, so this would be the lead up to the war, like the whole political espionage, the scene Firefly taking control, like how he ends up taking this country that was already in financial ruin, already in the shitter, turning it into this more dictatorial, like more aggressive, angry nation under his command. And it's like that whole like poisoning of a nation, just like, and seeing just the machinations, like it's like House of Cards and all that jazz, like.
Hey, but you know what the world needs now. You know how fractured and divided the world is right now. People don't want to go to the movies and watch a movie about things leading to all-out world war between two countries. They want to see something like Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson be bad guys and get their comeuppance by Rachel McAdams. That's what the people want to see more than this long, not even a war movie, lead up to a war movie.
I would say your film sounded very much like a Fatal Attraction, those 90 like erotic thrillers almost. And it's the reason why I'm saying 90s, because they didn't pass the 2000s, because it doesn't. There's none have been made that have that feel anymore. There's nothing that's really they're a very dated process. And your film sounds fantastic if it were going into 1995, like we're having Tom Cruise take over the lead, but that's a good point. But that's why it's so good. It is the fatal attraction for the 2020s. You're selling my movie for me, because you're right. Those were left behind in the 90s, and they didn't know what to do with them next. And you know the way that you make those movies now is that you take an already established comedy plot and you put the women lead at the forefront of it and highlight how horrible the two main characters are to begin with. That's how you make a fatal attraction for the 2020s, sir. Unlike another war movie, which I'm probably like, I'll see your movie, then I'll see another movie with like Benedict Cumberbatch will probably star in like a few months after or something. So, but my film has the bonus that it's now post-Trump. So here's the thing. So if you look at everything in political films, kind of stopped the last 8 or so years, because holy shit, what's going on with Brexit? What's going on with everything? Now it is so ripe to tell these stories once again, because we've gone through this and it's always fresh in our minds, stuff like this. So we can have these allegories, we can have all this, where it's this whole new playing ground to play with, of like ideas and trying stuff out. Whereas with your film, it just seems everything just kind of feels just like.
I got a great retort for this, because my film is also post-Trump, because after Trump, we have to evaluate how men react to women and how these people who can just do and say whatever they want in order to do things like people like these guys were painted as the heroes because they get to go to weddings and manipulate women and sleep with a bunch of them. And because Trump era thought that was all, kind of more okay. But now in post-Trump, you flip the script on that by saying, no, this is like this is not okay. This is a woman fighting back from that. So mine is also a response to the.
But we kind of already have those stories already happening. We have the Promising Young Woman. We have the what's the one? I can't remember it called, but it's the one that's basically an assistant for Harvey Weinstein. those type of films telling those types of stories already, whereas we don't have anything yet that's really touched the political landscape of what is now 2021, what is now that this whole new vast world of just like, holy shit, like everything's on fire still world that we're living in. And it also, your story living in it now is very much like, oh god, like yeah, it's like I know that guy, I know those guys. It's going to be almost awkward to watch. Whereas mine being set in the 30s, you have that period piece. You have there's that there's that kind of disconnect where you can go like you can get stories from it. You can understand, you can see allegories from past to the future, but you're still playing in that ballpark of just like everything. You can still like not feel like you can still have that. I'm stuttering here. I don't know why. You can have that escapism almost, whereas yours is very much in here and now.
See,
and also mine's starting a franchise.
Yours, and you're making the cardinal. You're saying like my movie is like, oh, it's so like Monty, you can't like do it now. It's just like you're making the cardinal mistake of trying to make a movie that's interesting first, leading up to what the people actually want to see in the next movie, which is the war between it. Yes, you can spend all your time establishing these characters and leading to war, but if your movie flops, like a lot of movies flop nowadays of these sort of things, then you're going to be left holding the bag because then your movie would have ultimately been about nothing because it would have every conclusion, everything after, everything you needed to see would have had to come second movie. My movie is a very open and closed thriller. Yes, is it simple? Is it not worldwide? You know, is it not like real world implications of war and all that stuff? No, this is a simple, straightforward, open shut thriller about a woman not attacking a woman, like kind of turning the tables on these two manipulative and emotional people in DC, which is I just think is a better straightforward story than a potential franchise starter that's not going to go anywhere and that's not going to give me anything until the second movie.
That's a good point.
Oh, you guys are killing me. Stop making good points against each other and then agreeing with it. It's very
everything he said about mine was like, yeah.
All right. I don't know how much more you guys can possibly say about each other, so then agree with it. So I'm going to give each of you about a 30-second closing argument just to tell me without the other one. Hi. There's Clint. Just a 30-second, seriously, closing argument to try to. Yes, I know. Clint is done with you two agreeing with each other as well. Jacoby, do you want to start first? You get 30 seconds. I'm not timing it or anything. Just kind of a closing idea of your movie.
My movie does what a lot of movies are trying to do nowadays, which is flip the script, which is tell a familiar story from a different perspective. And I think that's very important for filmmaking nowadays, especially. So that's why my movie specifically highlights that. Claire, and especially because the topic was flip the script from a kind of a similar sounding plot. So I took the Wedding Crashers plot and took a character who was vastly underrated in that thing, who was like thankless. It was a thankless role, and I'm putting her front and center. And what does that look like? And I'm putting even though Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson were hilarious, putting their actions on blast and how easy it is to switch to a more sinister light. So for those reasons itself, I just think my movie would be very interesting to see overall.
All right. I do not disagree. I like the idea. It is very creative, and it works very well with the plot that's already there. Tony, closing arguments, please.
Yep. So with mine, I do try and keep to the plot of Duck Soup. It's just a case that if you do watch it now in 2021, you kind of do go, wait, why is that woman got all the? Why has she got the power? Why is he allowed to just do everything he wants? Why are they the bad guy? I don't know what's going on. Once you get past the joke, so that's and also seeing it just like going into the 30s, it almost is an untapped period because like. No one really talks about that decade because you have the Great War 1918. I'm just remind you, Great War 1917, Anthony.
Oh, you just lost. So
the Second World War. So you have this time period of just nothing's really been told in this era before, and then you have this interesting story that it's like you have the escapism. You can go into this weird, bizarre world where and have this whole like his idea of just like, oh yeah, the future now happening in the past and all this jazz, and just it makes it just like in the present and the past.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you obviously just lost because of that statement, so we can just close it off there. No, I'm gonna let that one slide for now. Do it again. We're gonna have words. Anyway, we'll move. both very good. I like both these. We'll move to the last part, which is the critic's choice, which is me, which everyone knows means absolutely nothing because my taste in movies is garbage. But I've been listening to this, and I really like both these movies for not ever seeing Duck Soup and kind of just getting an idea of what it is, of the comedy elements. What you created out of it was very impressive. I feel like creating that war movie, also a political thriller, kind of giving me a little bit of ideas of like some Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy type options there. You get the spies, you get like the espionage, you have all that, someone in power, someone abusing power. It's very interesting, and I do appreciate the way you twisted the movie. And Jacoby, I mean, Wedding Crashers is a classic movie, not like a classic movie, but everyone knows it. Everyone can quote it. Everyone can do that. The way you switched it really fits very, very well with the movie. Like you can basically watch the movie and just, you don't even need to change a lot, and you can probably see it in this other way if you just watch it through a different lens and change up a couple things like Claire meeting Chaz instead of John or Jeremy. In the end, this is very difficult because he annoyed me very recently, but just for the simple fact of I think it was a little bit more of an overall like expanding it more. Tony's movie for me expanded the idea of the older movie a little bit more than the Wedding Crashers, because as you were talking about Wedding Crashers, I could kind of see a lot of the things staying the exact same with maybe a few differences. But I really like it. I enjoyed the thriller option of it. I just think even though you came in much more prepared, Tony was a little just more creative on the how he twisted it. But both great movies. You guys do not help yourself in round 3 by constantly agreeing with each other, making my life just that much more difficult. But in the end, this was a lot of fun. Obviously, I'm super happy I got to have you two on here because, you're good friends. This is fun. I know you guys always come with a little bit of fire. Well, sort of friends. I don't know. Whatever. You guys are fine. Okay. Anyway, Jacoby, I'll start with you. Thank you for being here. Hope you had a good time again. And what do you got to plug? I'm sure you have something you might have to plug. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I guess I gotta learn to start playing. No, yeah, I had a blast. Thanks for having me. I love doing this. I love creating these stories and then going about this. And Tony bested me again from the Critics' Choice. Dang it! So I'll have to come in much harder next time. But I had a blast. I love talking with you guys, talking with Tony. This was awesome. Thank you for putting this together. Plug wise, check out my Schmodown match, which is going to air on 4/22, I believe. So it's be there or be squared. I'm going up against Jacob Blunden, and it's going to be a fight for the ages. Be sure to check it out. And
2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today. Oh, that's awesome. That's good to know. But check that out. And that's, I guess, what I have to plug as a Schmodown player.
Excellent. That's pretty much where I was going with that. JB versus JB. Very, I'm sure, epic match, I would imagine. Both very good. Tony, I saved you for a second because I know you have about 500 things to plug. So please, whenever you feel like. Also, again, thank you for being here. I'm glad you were able to do this. I was hoping to get you two on one together. And as always, you came in with a sort of scattered plot, but a good one. So go ahead, plug what you need to plug. And just again, thanks for being here.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me. Feature Thursday Productions on YouTube. That's the best place to find everything. So you have Fancy Food Wednesday. Last night we had book adaptations with Paige Gibbons hosting with Chance Ellison on for people that are fans of Schmodown. That Made Your List with Dave Goodyear's. The episode with Jonathan Knowles will be up, and maybe hopefully next day or two. It's just proving really difficult to edit, but it's really fantastic interview with him. And if you are interested in more of him, That Made Your List with Anthony Tisdale was up a month ago, and he was also on Earner for Bill Cariola. New shows coming up all the time. The FPTL, what's coming out for the Embassy FPTL will be at end of the month, so please keep your eye out for that. It's going to be a ton of fun. And that's everything. Digest Cinema Podcast, and just like and subscribe places, people.
Yes.
Yeah, do that.
Like and subscribe everywhere. Everyone needs likes. Everyone needs subscribes. Just do it to this one, to feature presentations, all over the place, because everyone has good content. And so for opening night trivia, obviously check it out. The new title picture coming up. We have a lot of rookie matches coming up. If you are not signed up, please just sign up. You'll get in there at some point. Just sign up. What's the worst that can happen? Additionally, Teams League is going to be starting up soon. So if you're watching this, put a team together. And when the sign-up post comes there, be prepared. Because we'll probably have like 16 or so to start. Because we're still kind of learning. Other than that, working title, obviously, if you are interested, hit me up. Put it on the post on the page. DM me. It's fine. It's just for fun. You need to know literally nothing about movie trivia to do this show. I was going to say something mean about Tony, but I'm not, because he doesn't. He knows trivia. These two beat me in a match. So what can I say? Anyway, for myself, for Jacoby, for Tony, for opening night, thank you for hanging out. Until the next time.